Hey there. Welcome to episode 52 of Toy Talk with Mike and Chad. I'm Chad,
I'm Mike.
and the part of Mike's collection we'll be talking about today are some new Marvel Legends that he's had for a while.
Yeah, some of these Marvel Legends have been piling up for months. And I want to do a review of them before the end of the year, because there's some figures that I have here today that might very well be contenders for my best of the year list that I'll be compiling in the next 2 weeks, before the end of the year. And yeah, you have not really got on the Marvel Legends train yet. I know you have a couple.
I have a couple.
So which guys do you have?
I have
Hobgoblin?
I have... Would you count the Kingpin and all those guys?
Yeah.
From like the retro Spider-Man carded ones?
Yep.
I have the Kingpin, I have Shocker, I have Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse, where he's got his little...
Yeah.
And then I have the White Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And I have Thanos.
So it's a humble collection.
Yeah, I've probably sub 10, maybe, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have probably about 20 of them right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got hundreds of Marvel Legends at this point. I don't know how many, but I don't know, 600 maybe. I don't know.
It's impressive.
And yet the frustrating thing is, there's still so many that I get the ones that I really want.
Yeah.
And I also get some that I don't necessarily want all that much. But there's a lot of ones that are kind of in the middle ground, like that would be nice to have, and I don't buy it. And I don't know if you've seen any of these yet, but my algorithm just knows what I like, I guess. All the best action figures of the year lists have started showing up in the last week or two.
Yeah.
So channels that I've never watched before, but just because, they're just recommending, check out this guy's top 10, check out this guy's top 20 or whatever. And a lot of people are doing Marvel Legends specific videos, these are my top 20 Marvel Legends. And as they go through them, I'm like, oh man, I never got that Hawkeye. And they're like, oh geez, I never got that one. I kind of want that. And I'm kind of constantly amazed that I've got so many figures, and yet there's still so many more I could have got. It's also interesting. I know people, obviously everybody has their own opinion, and everybody has their own nostalgic attachments to their own characters. It's not necessarily particularly objective when people are making their best of the year list. But I've seen some people, I saw 2 lists where people put Egghead, the Ant-Man villain he looks like a cone head, on their best of the year list, and I was like, I guess.
Whatever floats your boat.
But the figure's not terrible. I just think the character is super lame. But I guess if you're a fan of Egghead and you've been waiting forever, because that's the kind of character that you would probably think would never get an action figure. So, I don't know. To each their own. But anyway, where to even begin? I think this is one of the ones I've had for the longest. I think I got this guy in the summer. This is...
Oh, yeah.
This is Detroit Steel. So, this guy, I wasn't sure if I was going to buy him because he was a convention exclusive. I can't remember what convention it was. It might have just been a Hasbro con or something. But anyway, he showed up at our local GameStop, and when I saw him there, I thought, oh geez, I don't know how readily available this guy's going to be. Turns out he's going to be pretty readily available. I've seen him pretty consistently in stores. And chances are he's probably going to go for sale half price eventually, and I'll be kicking myself for paying full price for him. Because this was almost $100 figure. Is he worth it? I don't know, but he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does look super cool.
He's really big, and he's got some good weight to him. Yeah, I know you've handled this guy already, I think, but he's got a bunch of attach-on weapons, and he's got some blast effects. He's got the chainsaw on his forearm.
The thing that I like about this guy are the hydraulics.
Yeah.
On his arms and his legs. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool design. Now the thing is, I'm guessing it's probably very, very heavily retooled from the Ironmonger figure
Yeah.
that was released last year. And that was an Ironmonger based on the MCU version that Jeff Bridges plays.
Yeah.
So he was just like a solid gray. And, I love the MCU movies, but I don't really lean into the MCU figures. I mostly buy comic book figures. Yeah. So even though I thought the Ironmonger was cool, I didn't feel the need to buy that set because I'm holding out hope that they'll release a comic version of Ironmonger because he's, in my opinion, he looks better. He's blue. He's a little bit more unique. He doesn't look just like another Iron Man. But anyway, so I didn't buy the Ironmonger. If I did, I bet I could hold these guys side by side and think like, oh yeah, these guys are 90% the same.
Yeah.
But because I don't have Ironmonger, this guy feels very unique to me and to my collection. And he's pretty sweet.
Yeah, he's a solid figure, literally.
Yeah. The only thing about this guy is that like, I read the comic book series that introduced him. It was in the Iron Man comic books a few years back when Matt Fraction was the writer. And, the character wasn't very interesting. Like, it was kind of this, you can see he's Detroit Steel. He's all painted up like an American flag. He was kind of almost like this corporate, shady corporate Iron Man that, but like the character inside the armor wasn't very compelling. I don't know if he's returned, like, since his kind of initial appearances. Like, I bet over time he'll probably become a recurring character, but I don't know if he's really made a big splash in the Marvel Universe yet. So he looks cool, but I don't really have any major attachment to the character. And for me, the kind of personal attachment is usually the bigger thing that draws me to a toy. Next up, they did a whole wave of XMen animated figures.
Yeah, they did.
Now, I never watched the X-Men cartoon in the 90s. Did you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I watched the Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, me too.
But I didn't watch the X-Men one. So I have no, attachment to that look or anything like that. So when I saw that they were doing a whole line of X-Men animated figures, I kind of thought of them as the MCU figures. I'm like, these figures look neat, but I don't need them because I prefer the comic-based.
Yeah.
But they released a comic version of Bishop a while back, and I didn't buy it because Bishop is not a character that I like very much. And the version before, he had his long dreads and everything, which is how I remember him from the comic books. Didn't buy it. So then I saw this guy hanging on the pegs at my local Walmart. This is the animated version of Bishop.
Yeah.
And I'm not as familiar with this look where he's got the shorter hair. He's got a kind of a more classic, X-Men training uniform on. And I just thought this was a damn handsome action figure. I don't think I'm going to do my handsomest action figure of 2023, but if I had to...
He would make the cut.
Yeah. Look
I mean,
at this.
that is a really handsome gentleman.
Yeah, it's a really nice face sculpt, and I love the way they captured... It looks animated, but...
It doesn't.
But real. Yeah, he looks like he could be a real guy. And even though I've never really cared for Bishop as a character, I had to buy this toy. I was like, man, I don't know why I need to buy this Bishop. It just looks so damn good.
Now I want a Bishop.
Yeah, it's a great figure. So this again flies in the face a little bit of me needing to have an attachment to the character to really embrace the toy. This toy has potential to be my best of the year. Not the best, but on my list. And I don't even like this character. So there you go.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah. What else do we got here? A while back, there was an X-Men wave, and it was the Build-A-Figure had the Starjammer character Chod, the big, or Chode, I don't know how to say it. C-H-O-D, Chod.
Wasn't it C-H-O
hyphen, yeah.
O-D?
Yeah, so, whatever.
Let's go with Chode.
Chode, yeah. So, I wanted Chode, but I didn't want all the figures that I had to buy in order to make Chode.
Yeah.
So I bought some of them, and then I was able to use, because I have all these extra spare parts from an old Abomination Build-A-Figure that I never completed. So between these three parts, I was able to build kind of a patchwork Frankenstein version of Chode.
A Franken-Chode.
Franken-Chode, yeah. So I had Chode's head, one Chode arm, one Chode leg, and the rest of them was Abomination. So the greens didn't match up. It was very obviously two different figures. but it was good enough. Anyway, just the other day, like a week and a half ago, somebody on Facebook in one of the Marvel Legends groups I'm in posted that Amazon's got a bunch of figures on sale. Anyway, they had a bunch of the XMen Marvel Legends on sale for $14.99 Canadian, which normally they're like $35.99 Canadian. So it was a good savings. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to buy a couple of those X-Men characters that I didn't buy. That way I'm able to... I think there's supposed to be another one here. Right? Yeah. I could complete my chode. So now, here is...
The real chode.
The real chode, so he doesn't have to have any abomination parts. So I showed this guy in a previous episode when I thought I was going to just have to be satisfied with the mix and match parts. But now I've got a complete guy, so he looks a lot better on my shelf. Although, if I'm being... So, full disclosure, the leg that I had on this abomination figure, the peg holes on this body are different sizes, so you can't like swap his left and right legs. So I found one of these legs loose at Giant Robot Comics, our local comic book shop, and he sells Build-A-Figure parts for like $5. So I bought a leg thinking it would fit on there, and it's the opposite leg. So I technically have this leg twice. So one of them snaps in place, and the other one, when I've got him sitting on my shelf, it rests in place okay. So he looks complete, but I couldn't play with him or something because his leg won't attach. So I still need an Emma Frost figure if I am to get the proper leg. But she wasn't on sale on Amazon, so for now, he looks good on my shelf, but he's not 100% complete. Hopefully, I don't even really want the Emma Frost figure, which is why I don't have the leg yet, but hopefully maybe somebody trades in the loose leg at Giant Robot one of these days. Or if any of my friendly viewers have one and they want to send me that extra leg, let me know. But anyway, in order to get those 3 pieces, these are the stupid characters that I had to buy. So...
Who will you start with?
I'll start with the best one. So this guy's name is Chamber. This guy was introduced in a comic book in the 90s called Generation X, and it was kind of like a new version of the New Mutants. It's like the new teen X-Men characters. And I loved the New Mutants when I was a kid. They were kind of my era. When these guys came out, I kind of scoffed at them. I was like, these characters look dumb. I don't want a new version to replace my New Mutants that I love. So yeah, I didn't really care for these guys. But I thought this guy had an interesting design. The premise being that his mutant power, when it manifested, it erupted out of him and it destroyed his lower face and his chest. So he doesn't have half a face anymore. So this energy is constantly crackling out of him.
I mean, it's not terrible, but it's unfortunate that he's pretty much all black.
Yeah, like he doesn't really have a superhero costume. So I know nothing about the character really, other than what I just told you. So I didn't really want to buy him for $35 or whatever, but for $15 I was able to do it, mostly because he came with the chode
part
piece.
of the chode.
If it was just him for $15, I still wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay. The other guys are worse. Now, this figure's not terrible either, actually. This is a character whose name is Monet St. Croix, or something to that effect. Do you know who this is?
Vaguely.
So she was another member of Generation X, but I know nothing about this character. When I bought her, I looked her up on Wikipedia, and she basically has like every power. She's super strong, and she can fly, and she has telekinesis, and she can it's like so lazy that it's like, yeah, she can just kind of do everything a little bit. And her costume, like she has a superhero costume, but there's like nothing interesting about it at all.
It's really ugly. It's like, that's a scarlet, maybe?
Yeah, it's like a red or maroon outfit with like kind of yellowy orange gauntlets. But like, it doesn't even have, like, for one, she doesn't really have a superhero name. Like, I think she has had one at one point or another, but the packaging said Monet St. Croix, which I think is just like her real name. So she doesn't really have a name. She doesn't really have, good powers. Her outfit doesn't have anything that distinguishes her. It's a pretty boring ass character. So I wouldn't have bought this. But
you did it for the chode.
I did it for the chode. And then lastly, this guy...
that guy looks...
This guy looks like a total dweeb. I know nothing about this guy. Because I haven't read X-Men comic books like since the 90s. I'm aware of them because I'm still a current Marvel comic reader. So I read, comic book news every week, and I read the comic book websites. So I do know when this guy was introduced. There was a book a little while ago, I think it was called Wolverine and the X-Men, where it focused on Wolverine being like a teacher at the school, and he had kind of his own little class of students. And that's where this guy like came from. So his name is Kid Omega. Most of the pictures I had seen of him is he was just dressed as a snotty teenager, like with like a plaid shirt tied around his waist, like he was a grunge kid or whatever. I've never seen him wear this. I guess this is his superhero outfit, and it's terrible.
Yeah, it looks really stupid. I hate that haircut.
Everything about that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Like, the outfit is super boring. His hair and his glasses and everything, like, he just sucks.
Fail.
And he doesn't... I had a hard time trying to figure out what his powers were, too. Like, when I looked him up, I was like, what's this guy do again?
Being stupid.
No, I think he has... I don't know. Omega powers or something. They tried to pass him off as he's one of the most powerful mutants or something. But again, it's just... It seems very undefined, and it's just like... lazy writing, I think. They're just like some writer trying to get his new character like to be a big deal. But it's like... You can't just tell me he's powerful and like not make him interesting. But even besides the fact that the design is bad, like I think just the body parts they used on this is like they're older pieces, so it's not even a good figure.
He also has a really stupid face sculpt, like
yeah.
Not a fan.
I try and keep this channel positive. I'm not the type to go do a like worst of the year list. I would have a very hard time doing it because I don't buy toys that I don't like. But if I made a worst of the year list, these guys would probably be my top 3 on the list. So, not much more to say.
But you did it for the chode.
I did it for the chode, which is why it's still a little bit of a bummer that he's not fully complete. I just wasted another $45 and he's still not quite ready. But anyway. I do have other good ones coming. So, this guy here... this is another one that's a little painful because they released this guy a couple of months ago and I thought he looked awesome. This is the Super Adaptoid. So this guy dates back to the very early Avengers comic books. He's like a robot that can adapt to all the Avengers' powers, and to do that he kind of like mimics their look. So you can see he's got like Captain America's uniform, Iron Man's like repulsor in his chest. He's got Hawkeye's like mask. He's got Captain America's shield. And he's got Thor's hammer. Yeah. And so this guy came out, and he's like 12 inches tall. He's big compared to a standard Marvel Legend. It's pretty impressive. And I think the sculpting on this guy looks great. I don't have much attachment to this character myself. He doesn't make a lot of modern day appearances. He's kind of more of a Silver Age type villain. But I really wanted him, but I thought I'm going to wait and see if this guy goes on sale because he was like $100.
Yep.
And then Big Bad Toy Store had him on sale maybe a month and a half ago. The problem with Big Bad Toy Store, which is the online store where I do a lot of my shopping, usually they're great because they have their pile of loot function, which allows you to buy a bunch of stuff, put it in a pile of loot, and they hold it for you until you say, ship it now. And what that does is it saves you a ton of money on shipping. Because to order one figure from the States, shipping is going to be about $30. Yeah. But to order 10 figures from the States, shipping is about $50. Like, it definitely... you save money for sure if you bundle them. But when Big Bad puts things on sale, they say these items are not eligible for your pile of loot. So this guy, he went on sale for almost half price. I think he was like 40% off. But then when I did the math, I'm like, okay, well, I'll get him for 40% off, but then I have to pay like $30 shipping.
So it's really the same
for
price.
him alone. I'm like, yeah, it's not even worth it. But by that point, I had mentally told myself that I was finally going to get him. That I did the math, and I was like, you know what? If I do it, I'll still have to wait. It takes things about almost a month to get to me from Big Bad Toy Store. So I'm like, I'll pay for him. I have to wait a month. Or I could go to GameStop right down the street.
And
It might cost me a little bit more in the grand scheme of things, but buy them at regular price and have them in my hands right now. So I went out and I bought them. Didn't regret it because I love this figure. But just today I saw this guy on sale for $45 Canadian in stores. So half price of what I paid for him. Kind of painful. But such is life. Happens all the time.
Where was he on sale?
Well, Toys R Us. So yeah, if you like this guy, you can go to Toys R Us and get him for $45 right now.
He is cool.
He is cool. And to my surprise, so I was watching one of those other Best of the Year videos, and somebody named this figure as their worst of the year.
I don't think I'd go that far. It looks...
And I was like, even if you hate this character, I just don't know how you can justify saying that. But one of the points that this guy made, which I was not aware of, is that they said this was a cheap, lazy reuse by Hasbro to reuse their 12-inch Captain America Marvel Legends figure. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about those things. A couple of years ago, they tried to do a line of 12-inch Marvel Legends, and as far as I know, they only did a handful. I think they did Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, maybe a Deadpool, and not many. And I forgot all about them. In a way, I kind of think it's ingenious for Hasbro to say, we have this giant Captain America mold sitting around, what can we do with it? They're like, well, there's a guy that's a giant Captain America that would be to scale with our regular line, so I don't fault them at all for doing it. But it does make me question the $100 price tag a little bit more, in that I thought this was all brand new. But it's like reused tooling, and that makes me feel a little more ripped off.
Yeah, he's got some decent weight to him, too.
Yeah, he's heavy. Yeah, it's very cool. Now, speaking of heavy, this is another guy I waited on. I won out on this one. This figure came out. He was also almost 100. I think he was $90, and I didn't buy him. But then Toys R Us put a bunch of figures on sale in the past week or so that are half price. So the Super Adaptoid. They also put some of the XMen multi-packs for half price. One that I do feel burned on was, you know, that X-Men Villains box that I bought that had 5 figures in it?
Yes.
Early in the year. Yeah. So I probably paid like $179 for it. Now it's on sale for $89. Yeah, so my brother Doug went and bought one the other day. But it's like, oh man, it's painful that, you know, if I had just waited a few months, like I've probably had that set for about 7 months by now, but still, I could have waited 7 months to save myself $100. Anyway.
You just never know, though.
You never know. So this figure I didn't buy because I don't love this character, but I don't have this character in my collection. Like, I have hundreds of Marvel Legends. A lot of them are multiple Spider-Mans, multiple Iron Mans. But as a Marvel zombie myself, I like to have as many unique characters in my collection as possible. Yep. And this guy, whether I like him or not, he is
unique.
He's an important character, I guess. So I wasn't willing to spend $100 for him, but when he went on sale, I was able to get Blob, the X-Men villain.
Wow!
If you say so. Did he do that in the cartoon?
No, that's just an inside joke between me and a couple of my buddies. It's like a
okay, well,
it's like a big noise.
It is a big noise.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your friends enjoy your inside joke. It seems like a noise that might come out of Blob somewhere. This guy, it's hard, like, this was a character that made a couple other people's top lists when I was looking at them. And don't get me wrong, it's a cool toy. It's not hollow or anything. Like, he's a big hunk of plastic. So he's got some serious weight to him as well. But it's hard to get excited about this guy. He's a fat guy in a onesie bathing suit. Like,
that slightly resembles me when I had hair.
There you go. You can make a custom...
Like the face.
Custom Chad.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
And he did have... He had an alternate head here, which you guys will see it. I'm going to do split screens of this stuff, but he has like an alternate yelling head. I kind of prefer my figures to be less...
neutral.
Yeah, more neutral, less
more
expressionless.
Neutral,
yeah, or more... You know what I'm saying.
I do.
So...
And I like that they have freckles on him. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, his skin is like painted. It looks like pretty believable with the freckles all over him and little I don't know, liver spots or whatever they are. But yeah, not a bad figure. And I will say, we're flying through these actually quicker than I expected to. So I thought this episode was going to be like over an hour.
Yeah,
but
we're only on, what, 25 minutes?
25 minutes. I don't have that many more to go. So next up, so this was a 2-pack. This is from the like this year they put out, I think what they call it, the 60th anniversary, Avengers 60th. So it had a kind of its own unique look to it. Like this guy technically was part of the Avengers 60th anniversary, so he came in this white packaging, which you'll also see when I do some split screens. But they've done a bunch of like box sets. So like there was Hawkeye and his hover cycle. There was Thor with the Destroyer, which I bought earlier this year. There was a couple other sets that I didn't get. But this is one of the sets I picked up. So this is Captain Marvel, now known as Photon, but at the time when she wore this costume, she was Captain Marvel in the 80s. And Doctor Doom.
You can never get enough Doctor Dooms.
Yeah, Doctor Doom is awesome. And this Doctor Doom figure is designed to look like the Secret Wars action figure of the 80s, which I have in my collection. I don't know why I didn't have more Secret Wars figures when I was a kid, but that was kind of like the only game in town for Marvel figures, and it wasn't a very extensive line. Like there was like 20 figures in the line or something. And I have 2 of them. I had Doctor Doom and Hobgoblin. That was it. I didn't have a Spider-Man. I didn't have a Captain America. Anyway, so Doctor Doom, it was kind of a unique look for him because Doctor Doom usually has kind of a tunic and a skirt and all this stuff, but here he's just kind of got a onesie, and it's kind of like a cybernetic onesie. It's got some metallic design. Anyway, that was a look specifically designed for the Secret Wars comic book / toy line of the 80s. I think it was like 84. And yeah, so I have a couple of Doctor Dooms in my collection that have the more traditional look. But yeah, when I saw this one, it speaks to my childhood because I had that toy when I was a kid.
Everyone's favorite Valerian.
Valerian?
Or what's the place he's from?
Latveria.
Latvian. Sorry.
Valerian is a sci-fi movie with
yeah.
Didn't do so well.
It's been a long week. It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this figure.
But it's a cool figure. He does have an unmasked head. So, because in the original Secret Wars comic book, which you know much about Secret Wars, it was like the very first crossover, essentially. So yeah, that was, and it was kind of prompted by the toy company. Like, I think it was Mattel that made the original toys. They said, hey, we want to do a Marvel toys, but we want something that ties all your characters together because they're kind of all standalone. And so Marvel did this book called The Secret Wars, where all their characters got put on a planet called Battle World or whatever, and they had to fight it out. And Doctor Doom, he kind of obtained the power to, he got like cosmic powered in it. And one of the first things he did is he reversed his scarred face, and he gave himself a handsome face. So you've got a handsome face, and you also have a little hood, so you can make it look like he put his hood back. So that's kind of a cool little detail. But yeah, it's a nice head. And you know what I was thinking, this actually just occurred to me. I've had this figure for a little while, but it just crossed my mind the other day. Is on my G.I. Joe shelf over here, I used the Egghead body.
Sure did.
Because Egghead is basically a guy with a cone head with a lab coat body. And I wouldn't have bought that character because I think the character looks dumb. But when I saw the lab coat body, I thought I could use that for a custom Dr. Venom figure from G.I. Joe.
Awesome.
And the head that I used was the unmasked Dr. Doom head that came with the Invincible Dr. Doom action figure from a couple of years ago. And it's an okay match, but the skin tones are a little off. The head doesn't fit on the peg quite right. I have to use some stick tack to hold it on there. Anyway, looking at this head, I think the skin tone's going to match better, and I think it's a better looking head.
I agree.
So I think I'll have to see how it fits, but I think this is going to be my new Dr. Venom head.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dr. Doom is great. And I will say, as much as I had to have this figure because of the nostalgic ties to like my childhood figure, I still don't think it's better than the other Doctor Dooms I
don't either.
So I prefer Doctor Doom's classic tunic over this look, but as far as kind of alternate looks go, this one's cool too.
I mean, it's cool, but he feels like super plasticky.
Yeah. He's got kind of, and like I don't know what the term is, but like the plastic is kind of like marbleized or something, like it's almost like swirly. I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I like the kind of feel of Marvel Legends, the toyetic look of them, as opposed to like the matte finish of a McFarlane figure sometimes, but so it doesn't really bother me, but yeah, he does feel kind of gummy.
Yeah.
Anyway, his packmate in that box was Photon. I don't like this figure. This would be on my worst of the year list too. It would probably be mostly Marvel Legends figures because Marvel Legends has that whole little... They do the Build-A-Figure thing, and they also do the multi-pack thing a lot. So a lot of times I do have to buy characters that I wouldn't have bought to get a character I did want. That doesn't happen so often with other toy lines. So, yeah. I don't like it. I think it looks weird. Like, she looks like she's got a frog face or something.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I also think her head seems too small.
It's really tiny. It's a tiny face.
Like a tiny face. She's got a big head because she's got an afro. But the face itself, like if she shaved her head, it would look like she had a little pea head. I don't like that outfit. I never have. With the kind of pillowy arms.
Not a fan.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when I was... My favorite version of comic characters are usually the first version that I encounter. So when I started collecting comic books in the mid-'80s, like, this was her look. And she was one of the main members of the Avengers team. Probably the most powerful member on the Avengers. I just didn't care. I didn't like her. I didn't like the way she looked. And I was happy when she left the book. And I didn't miss her at all. She's come back with some different looks and a different name. Like, she was no longer Captain Marvel. She became Photon, all that stuff. And I've liked some of her other looks better. But I've never really liked her. Until the MCU. This is one of those rare circumstances where they made a figure of her this year because she's one of the stars of the Marvels. And I really like the actress that plays her in the movie. And I think her outfit, it's still black and white with a star on the front, but it just, there's more going on. It's got a lot more texture. And so I bought that Photon figure to put in my collection as my kind of stand-in for her. So I didn't really need this figure. So even the part of me that would have said, well, it's cool to get this figure just because I'm a Marvel zombie and I needed her in my collection. I don't even need her in my collection anymore because I've got that MCU version. So yeah, to me, I feel this figure is pretty useless. And so yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Like, I don't mind. I like the Doctor Doom. I think I did get that pack on sale. Not a great sale. I think it was maybe like $10 off or something. But anyway, so this last bunch of figures. So I think this is pretty much the most recent wave of Marvel Legends. Probably the last one to come out in 2023. It is the like Midnight Suns wave, essentially, which is like kind of the dark side of the Marvel Universe. I was interested in a few of the figures, but not all of them. So, one of the ones that was high on my list was Lady Bullseye. So this is I want to say a more modern character, like a contemporary character, but even she's been around for like probably 15 years or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel almost any character that was introduced after when I got into Marvel as a child, there was already so many characters that existed, and then whenever they introduce a new character, I considered them a new character. Okay. So she's a new character, but you know she's probably been around longer than some people have been alive that might be watching this video. I don't know, but yeah,
not a bad figure.
It looks like the character from the comic books, which is kind of an undefined. It's like, is she naked? Is she wearing a bodysuit?
Body paint, bodysuit.
it was never really clear in the comic books either. Like it was about as indecipherable as that. You're like, I don't know. Because there's no seams or anything, so it looks like her neck just goes right into it, but she doesn't have any nipples or anything. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, but it looks like from the comic book, it's she was like a female assassin, essentially a female version of Bullseye, hence the name Lady Bullseye. And I think it looks good. And
nice looking Sai though.
Yeah, she had a bunch of weapons actually. She had like a couple of swords, I think. She had a couple of these little like fans. She had two of those. She had two Sais, and you see her hand is sculpted in like Sai form too. So yeah, lots of nice little accessories. I kind of keep forgetting to mention the accessories. That stupid XMen guy, Kid Omega.
Yeah.
He came with this translucent pink shotgun or whatever. Just makes him stupider still. But anyway, so this is a good figure. This is one of the ones I wanted from the series. Glad I was able to find her. The other one I wanted was this one here. This is Clea. Probably most well known for being Doctor Strange's girlfriend. She's like a Doctor Strange kind of character. Anything to add on her?
I like this one. Solid face sculpt.
I love that one. And I don't know much about Clea. I have never collected Doctor Strange comic books.
Yeah.
I've never been that interested in Doctor Strange. The only time I've ever read him consistently was when he was a member of the Avengers for a little bit under Brian Bendis was writing it, and he was a member. And then back in like the late 80s, there was a comic book called Strange Tales that featured Cloak and Dagger for half of the book and Doctor Strange for half of the book. And I'm a Cloak and Dagger fan, so I collected it for the Cloak and Dagger stuff, and so I was forced to read the Doctor Strange stuff. So I have encountered Clea a handful of times in my comic reading career, but not a lot. Like I've only read, I could probably count on one hand how many books I've read with Clea in them, so I don't know much about her. But I think that figure's gorgeous.
I love the wavy hair. Also, how she's got the horns or the Spidey.
And she did have swappable hands. She had little purple fists, so I could give her punching hands or spell casting hands.
Yeah.
And then she's got, I've got them on here, but she's got like translucent effects to wrap around to make it look like magic is coming out of her hands or something. But we're not the type of channel that likes to like perv on our action figures or anything like that. But I think this might be the best female face sculpt and paint job combined of Marvel Legends.
It's really nice. It's
like she's beautiful. Like she looks really, really good. And that alone is enough to maybe make this figure a contender for me. Like I don't think the functionality of the figure is nothing to call home about. The accessories aren't great. The uniform is cool. It looks like her, but it's nothing awesome. But that face sculpt, I think it's beyond.
Bright blue eyes.
Yeah.
Love it. Who played her in the...
Charlize Theron.
Yes.
Played her in the final scene of Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll see her again. I assume we will. But yeah. So solid figure. A contender for me. So, once I got those two figures, I ended up with two Build-A-Figure parts for the Mindless One. And I wanted to build the Mindless One. I don't know a ton about them either because they're also from Doctor Strange, but I have read them in other comic books. Like they live in like the Negative Zone or something, which the Fantastic Four go there a lot. And anyway, they're just big lumbering piles of rock essentially, and they shoot like laser beams out of their eyes. And the Build-A-Figure looked really cool, but I didn't want to buy 4 figures that I didn't want in order to get it. So I had 2 parts, and I was like, well, that's as good as it's going to get, I guess. But then my brother, he went and he bought the Luke Cage figure from
Doug and Brian.
Doug.
Okay.
My brother Brian doesn't buy any of this shit.
Okay.
So Doug bought Luke Cage for himself, but he wasn't planning on buying any of the other figures. So he has this leg. Okay, so my tablet just cut out for a second. But anyway, as I was saying, my brother Doug bought Luke Cage, so he gave me the leg that came with him. So now I had the torso from Lady Bullseye one of the arms from Clea, one of the legs, and I'm like, oh, well, now I only need to buy 3 figures to complete them. So I went to Giant Robot last night, and they sell Build-A-Figure parts that people have traded in, and they sell them for like $5. So they had the other arm I needed for $5. So I bought that. So now I only needed the head and the other leg. So I'm like, okay, I think I have to buy them now. So the figure that comes with the head is Blade, the vampire hunter.
Yep.
And I like Blade, okay. He's not one of my favorites. But the thing is, I already had a Blade figure that was good enough. I'm like, I've got Blade represented in my Marvel Legends, so that's why it kind of felt like a waste of money to have to buy another Blade that I didn't want. But Giant Robot had it, so I was buying the arms, so I thought, I'm going to buy Blade brand new, which cost me more than I would like to pay because he was full price plus a little bit. He was like $37.99, I think. So I bought him. But it's one of those things, when I got him home and compared him to my old one, I was like, oh man, he's way better than the old one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't feel as bad about it. Like, this old one's not as good as I remembered it. Like, he feels a little lanky, and it's like, that one definitely evokes the Wesley Snipes.
I was just about to say that. He's got the flat top with the...
Yeah, like, it's not Wesley Snipes.
tracks.
But it's...
There's a certain likeness.
Yeah, but I'm sure they probably didn't pay
did,
Wesley Snipes
yeah.
anything. But, like, it's the comic version of, like, the Wesley Snipes version. And he's got the long coat that this other guy doesn't have. He's got the flat top that this guy doesn't have. He's got the
Sword.
the lines in the hair that this guy doesn't have. Well, this guy has a sword.
Yeah, but I think this sword's better.
Yeah, he's got a sword, and he's got stakes, and he's got a couple, like, batarangs, essentially. He's got a couple of things. So pretty cool. So I don't feel like I wasted my money to get him.
I like him.
Yeah. So I got the head, and I put it on my my guy. So here is my Mindless One, with the head, with the $5 arm, with the Clea arm, with the head, or with the body from Lady Bullseye. Now, I haven't seen Doug yet to give me the leg from Luke Cage. But now I was just one leg short, and I might see Doug, like, tomorrow. So it was kind of like, I need to get that other leg.
I want the leg.
So when I went out today to Giant Robot, and I just got home before we started filming, so I haven't opened this yet, but I bought this Iron Man, which is him in his Midnight Suns black and gold armor.
And what does it have in it?
He comes with the last leg that I need. So hopefully by the time I'm shooting my split screens, I will have gotten that leg from my brother, and I can show you my Mindless One as a complete figure. And yeah, I love this guy. Now you can see here, this is kind of a cool effect. This is this comes out. So that's supposed to be like a smoke trail coming from his eye laser.
Oh, okay, I was going to say that's a pretty crazy tongue.
Yeah, no, so he's just got, his only facial feature is this red visor, kind of like Cyclops. He doesn't have a mouth or a nose or anything. But in the comic books, they're often shown they shoot energy, and then this like Kirby crackle energy is like oozing from their... so that's what this does. You can plug in this translucent effect, which just looks like smoke trailing out of his eyes and stuff. And I think it's super cool. So, yeah, this guy might be too simple to be like a contender for best of the year or anything, but I'm super glad I got him, and I think he's really cool. So, there you go. And just in case you were curious, the other figure that I didn't have to buy was you're familiar with the Hand, which is the red ninja clan that the foot is a spoof of.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've previously released a Hand ninja character, which I didn't buy when they released him before. So this time, from the current Daredevil run, there's like a sub-faction of the Hand called the Fist. And so this guy was a Fist ninja. And so I could have got him, because he's like a troop builder. He looks fine, but I didn't feel I needed him. So I'm glad I was able to get his Build-A-Figure piece for $5 and save myself $30-something.
30-something plus tax.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's my Marvel Legends.
That's a pretty sweet pot you got there.
Yeah, it's a lot. So it's been a good year for Legends, and there's still, like, I have a bunch more on pre-order that I'm still excited about. There's like a Spider-Man wave that's probably going to be early next year, which has got like a classic Jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, I need that.
And it's got a Hallows Eve. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah.
Yes, and who else is in there? Somebody else I was excited about. Another villain. I don't know. But, yeah, there's a Tombstone. I have a Tombstone. Yeah. I have a Tombstone already in my collection, but it's not a great version of him. He's wearing this kind of like, I don't know, deep V-cut, like bare chest or something, where Tombstone traditionally appears in a suit. He's a gangster, so I like that this new version is him in like a suit. Anyway, so yeah, like that's a pretty cool wave of stuff coming out. They just revealed a bunch of new Wolverine 2-packs. Did you see those?
I did. Those are up there for me with the Nightcrawler figure that's also announced.
Yeah, so they showed a new wave of X-Men animated. So that same series that Bishop is from. There's a wave 2. I sent you the picture of Nightcrawler because he's your favorite.
Yeah. I'm
excited about the Goblin Queen.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that in a previous episode. Hasbro had teased that they might give us a Goblin Queen figure as an add-on figure to the Ghost Rider car that was a HasLab. Although the car didn't fund, so that means the project didn't go through. So then we were left wondering, well, are we ever going to get a Goblin Queen? Now that Goblin Queen, because it was like made just for collectors, it looked more like the one that I would want. The Goblin Queen I remember from the 80s comics. She was very scantily clad. This new version they're giving us, since it falls under the cartoon banner, she's fully dressed and everything like that. It's still a cool figure, and I'm happy to get it, but it's not quite. I don't think it's quite as good as the one that they teased with the car. But yeah, so lots of good figures coming out. Maybe one of the things we'll do in our end of the year video kind of wrap up is we'll talk about maybe, because I've done this in past years, is for all the lines that we collect. So Ninja Turtles, Marvel Legends, whatever. We'll talk about like what top 10 figures we would like to see coming out next year. Because there's so many Marvel characters that still haven't been done. I've been waiting for them to complete certain teams. That reminds me, another set of figures that's probably due out pretty soon is they've got a couple of the new Warriors characters. So yes. Justice and Namorita. So those are 2 characters that I've been waiting for forever because we have the other members. We have Nova and Night Thrasher and Firestar, Speedball, but we needed those last 2 members. So, yeah, I'm excited about those ones. Yeah, so we'll do that.
Lots of good stuff. Lots of good thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start thinking now.
All right. So, like I said, I might be back before Christmas. It depends on how busy my family life is. But I do have a couple other toys I would like to post videos of. But you won't be back probably before Christmas.
I will not.
So
most likely. Friday night. But that's more of a social gathering.
Yeah, we're getting together Friday night. I'm having a little house party here. So yeah, I don't want to leave my wife. My wife can entertain everybody. Yeah, we won't do that. But, yeah. So, any Christmas wishes you want to wish to our viewers here?
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's a good one. Looking forward to hearing some of your comments about what you get over the holidays. And
yeah. Last thing, I will be doing a video, regardless of whatever I get posted before Christmas. I know I've got some cool toys coming to me for Christmas, so I will promptly try and get a video up after Christmas within a day or 2 of all the cool new stuff I'm going to get for Christmas. So yeah, by all means, make sure you comment on that channel, like in that video, what you guys got.
Yeah.
And once we post our top 10s, I'm curious to hear what everybody else's top 10s are. Like I said, I watch a ton of those videos online of everybody else's lists. But yeah, on the chance that I know not everybody that watches has their own YouTube channel. So yeah, make sure you tell us in the comments and stuff. I'm always curious to hear what everybody else likes. But yeah, I guess that's it for now.
That's it. So yeah, Merry Christmas, buddy.
Merry Christmas, dude. Merry Christmas to you guys. And yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll see you before the new year.
Not before you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, do all that stuff we talked about. So until then, I guess, keep collecting.
Merry Christmas.